but it comes up twice. So I want you to hold on to that. But I also realized, and I looked for cheap internet for the household. This is kind of what it shifted to as well. And I found out that these companies give about, for $10 a month, you can get 5 megabytes per second, which is not fast, but it's not slow. And it's something that can be affordable for households. If they don't have the luxury of going out all the time to do their homework and they want to be in the household and be with family, there still is another option. The problem with both of these sets of resources is this, and I'm using the screenshots I've taken on my phone. I didn't know that McDonald's had free Wi-Fi or Carl's Jr. had free Wi-Fi until I actually walked into the establishment and had my phone out and was looking for the Wi-Fi signal. There are no posters on the wall. There are nothing that indicates that there's free wireless there. And this is pretty indicative of every place that I was at. And so they're saying, oh yeah, there's free Wi-Fi, but nobody knows where it is. And if you don't have internet in the household, how would you know to search for these places to find internet? And this is also true of the internet companies, the cheap internet companies. I had to do a lot of research online to even find that these were around, that you could find them. They're not advertised. And so the information became something that needed to become a short-term goal. Now, I talked a lot about libraries before, and I realized what the issue was. They were going there for internet, but they were also going there because the libraries have computers. And so they can use the computers to do their work, and they can use the computers to research online and to use that. And that's why it was coming up a lot. And that's why you saw in the graphic that I showed earlier that was the place that they went to the most, is because it had both resources that they needed. Backing up, these cheap internet providers also provide computers for the household. And it's an option that you can select. For $150, they'll give you a new computer. Sometimes that's a burden. And so I wanted to look at and see what other resources they had. And there wasn't a lot within Daly City. In fact, there was 2 in San Francisco, where if you came in and you submitted that your child gets a free or reduced lunch, you would actually get a refurbished computer from these 2 websites. And so this was the best way for households to get free computers. A cheaper version where you still have to pay is under $50. You can go to the Goodwill Recycling Center in South San Francisco. And so what I realized from answering the resources for my second question was that there wasn't a lot of resources in the Daly City area for Ben Franklin in terms of providing computers for themselves. So it was at this point, after I gathered the research, after I did the research and I gathered the resources, that I developed my short-term goals, my short-term, medium-term, and long-term goals. And my short-term goals is this. There's a current going through all the research that I did, and that is, there's no information out there. Students don't know, families don't know. So what's the easy way to do this? Create a flyer, a physical flyer. I know I wrote email up there, and every time I forgot to change that. But passing out a flyer to your students to take home to your families is easy. The principal at Ben Franklin also gives out a newsletter that can also be where you can show these resources. And word of mouth, back to school, it's very easy to start this up. It doesn't take a lot of effort to do this, and that's why it was a very easy short-term goal. Just get the information out, allow this to diffuse into the parents. My medium-term goals within this school year was, first, parent education nights. If parents come into the classroom or come into the school after school and learn why technology is being used at the school site, they're probably going to be more apt to provide those resources or go out and get those resources for their students for home. If they don't have any interaction with it, then they're not going to know how it's used in the educational atmosphere. The second one, I think, is probably the best midterm goal that I came up with, which is a donation campaign. But this donation campaign would go through the technology class that they have at Ben Franklin, and it would have a win-win situation. One, you'd be providing refurbished computers for the community of Ben Franklin. The second thing is the students in the technology class would refurbish those computers so that they can gain the skills and learn the understanding of how a computer works, how to fix it, and they could bring those skills home. They can use them throughout the rest of their lives, interacting with 21st century skills. The last thing is, I noticed working at a district office now, is that the district, when they replace computers, they generally recycle the previous ones. They don't put them back into the community. And that seems like it would be a really easy fix to take all these desktops that they had at school sites that maybe just needed to be wiped pass them back out, give them back to the community. Why do they need to get recycled? The long-term goals, the first two are the ones that I think have the most effort and they're most likely to succeed. There's a lot of churches around Ben Franklin, and there's a lot in the neighborhood, and this would be an extension of the donation campaign. Churches would get, donated computers, refurbish them or pass them along to the school to refurbish, and then you pass them back out to the school sites. The second thing is, and there's a lot of market research regarding this, engage with the community businesses. It showed in the research that if you actually do bring Wi-Fi and advertisement into your school, into your business, you're doing two things. You're helping the community, and you're probably going to be raising your profits as you're bringing in more people. And that way you're bringing more engagement in with the school site, you're helping the students, and you're also helping yourself pay the bills. The last two were long shots, but I figured I'd put them up there anyways, and despite the fact that we're so close, Silicon Valley is really close here. I've seen a lot of after-school programs go in and get grants or scholarships for technology, or at least training and bringing students down. And so I think if you engage with them, that they would be more likely to do that. We're in one of the parts of the world where technology is hot. It's a hotbed. Most of it comes out of here. The last one is to go to Daly City themselves. Talk about maybe getting Wi-Fi on Samtrans. The students use the buses all the time, and maybe in its parks. Because the reason why we're always doing this is because these children are our future, and they need to be able to integrate within the future and what the needs and skills that they're going to need to grow.